Hello guys, welcome back to Business and Breakfast episode 2, The Art of Failure. This one will be a short one, but I really wanted to do that one because it was very important for me to speak about the art of failure and understanding that any kind of failure at any stage is really feedback for you. It's absolutely not any kind of stop or the end of the journey. You have to understand that an entrepreneur struggle and an entrepreneur has to understand the journey is the reward. This is absolutely not one stop. This is very likely that your first business will not be your last business. So I wanted to speak to you about all of that, about the way to face failure, the way to use it to build the next step to go towards your goal. So second episode of Business at Breakfast, episode 2, The Art of Failure. The art of failure. What if your big mistake, your big failure, was the best investment in your future? When you fail, you can feel very bad regarding the lack of money, the lack of success, the way people will see you. But you need to reframe your mindset, meaning you need to understand that if you are not succeeding, you are highly probably learning. So you get something. Either you succeed and you move forward, you continue to build, either you learn. So this is something that will help you to understand what got wrong, what you have to do better to go to chase your goal. Failure is your tuition fee, meaning this is the price that you have to pay to become a great entrepreneur. A great entrepreneur can enter in any kind of business and change the mindset of all the team and all the people. This is how you become a leader. You become a leader by solving problems. You become a leader by becoming the one who everyone respects in any kind of chaos, because during this chaos, you remain calm because you know how to face challenges and you know that any kind of failure will be a learning opportunity for you, for your team, and for your business to improve. So your failure is your tuition fee. The art of failing is the art of embracing any kind of failure on your way. So when you fail, you need to reframe your mindset to start to prepare for growth. Okay, so to continue, you have to, as I said, you need to shift your mindset. When you look outside, the problem we have nowadays in the society is like you are doing things to please people you don't even like. So when you do something, I said that can be your friend, that can be your community on social network, that can be your family. You are doing things to please and you think about them more than you think about you. So you need to erase the fact that the society, you are seeing the society saying when you lose, to make you ashamed, to push you to hide it, to even give up, and to consider yourself as a loser. You have to understand that a winner is a loser that never gave up. This is what you have to put in your brain. So when you fail, you didn't fail. You just receive information regarding the market, regarding the business. For example, you invested some money in a new product, and this new product is not working as you expected. So what do? You learn from that, you adjust, and you move forward. So the mindset shift is not feeling ashamed, trying to hide, trying to consider yourself as a loser and thinking about giving up, but being excited for what's to come because you received data from the market. You have now the possibility to iterate, meaning you can adjust. You adjust because you receive feedback from the market. That can be, for example, a problem with the customers. The customers are not happy. Maybe you need to fix your customer service, or the customers are not buying again. So you need to understand why people are buying once and not twice. Maybe your price is too high. Maybe your quality is too poor. Maybe the way you market and the way you interact with your database of customers is not good enough. You need to understand all of that. So you receive the information from the failure, you put that into your mindset shift, and you use those data to iterate and to adjust. You learn. So when you fail, you feed your data bank. When you succeed, you move forward. In every way, you are moving forward as an entrepreneur. You didn't fail. You received information. And if you change the story, you will be able to change the outcome. As I say all the time, failure is a feedback. I wanted to show you that loop here, that is very, 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 very important. When you take action, usually it's coming from, the action is coming from your past, what you learned on the way. When you put an action together, you have a result. Either you succeed, you continue until you face a challenge. When you face a challenge, or when we say a failure, you gather data. So the data that you get, you put that in the bank that will help you to analyze the way, what did go wrong? What can I improve? How we can do better next time? You need to think long term. As I said before, your first business will likely not be your last business. So each time you enter in a business or you face challenges, even if your business has to shut down, you need to gather those data to analyze, adjust your strategy, and to take a better action to continue to move forward as an entrepreneur. As I said, an entrepreneur needs to love the struggle. The struggle is the journey for an entrepreneur. So you need to understand that. Every failure is to prepare you to do better for the next move. Very important to understand. At Limitless Capital, we work with startups everywhere in the world. We help them to clarify a bit their product, to clarify their way they go to commercial, their marketing, their go-to-market, the way to go to raise funds. Nowadays, raising funds is not as easy as it was 10 years ago. 10 years ago, you were able to put AI or blockchain or crypto in your deck, and you were able to raise $10 million. Nowadays, it's not how it happens. So you need to fail fast, because the faster you will fail, the less money and time you will spend. The faster you fail, the cheaper is the lesson. Meaning, if you start in your journey, for example, you are in your early 20s or early 30s, you have to try, you have to understand that you don't know what you don't know. This is a sentence that I love. You don't know what you don't know. So if you don't know what you don't know, you need to try. And when you try, you receive feedback. Either it's working, either it's not working. The failure, the so-called failure, is just a cheap lesson for you to improve, to iterate, and to start again better. There is one trap. Is, for example, if you receive a business from your family. So you are considered as a kind of entrepreneur because you are running a business, but you didn't build that business. So you stay linear, you stay in line with the business, and you do not have any appetite to take risk. Even if you receive the business of your family, you need to take some risk by trying to improve the business, by trying to test some ideas. The more ideas you will test, the more possibility you will have feedback from the market, the more you will iterate, adjust, and improve your business. Very important. So do not stay in what we call the slow failure. If you have a business that is running, or if you started your first business and this is enough to pay the bills and to be content about what you have, please try to push the business forward and put you in danger. Because if you stay linear, if you stay like this for 20 years, you will face at some point some challenges. And if you are not used to deal with challenges and to fix them and to learn from them, to adjust and iterate, you will have a huge problem. So you have to focus on failing fast. The speed of failure is your speed of learning. So the faster you fail, the cheaper will be the lesson. Especially if you are in your early 20s, do not hesitate to fail, to push, to try. And I also encourage you to listen the first episode of Business and Breakfast when I was talking on how to build a brand with $0. I explained what we did in the past, and I will help you to understand how to build a company for very, very cheap, without spending, without going to raise money or getting some loans, but directly testing your ideas. Because your idea that you think is magic is probably that magic. And the only thing that is telling you your business is viable is because the customers are ready to pay for what you offer. So you need to go to market and receive some feedback. If customers are not buying, Your product is not good, you need to adjust. If they are buying, you are receiving money, your parameters are all good, your CAC is good, your LTV is good, you are able to scale. And then you can start to pour money into your business. But very important when you have a brand, especially a consumer brand, test the market for free. So fail fast and learn fast. You have to understand when you fail that in any failure, this is the seed of a greater benefit. Meaning, every failure plants something in the soil of your journey, the soil of who you are as an entrepreneur. It can be financial loss. For example, you are paying a supplier in advance for any kind of thing. The supplier is shutting down, is taking out all your money or 80% of the money of the company. How do you do? This is a pure loss. You are losing your two biggest customers that were running 60% of your revenue. Pure financial loss. Oh my God, how do I do that? The wrong hire. For example, in a company, you have key pillars. You have the commercial manager, the marketing manager, the financial manager. All those pillars for a business are very important. They can be very good during the interview, and you can discover along the way that they were not the good hire. So this is also a pure loss. But you get feedback from that, so you adjust. You are probably in the bad market. For example, you were in the cosmetic industry and you thought that this new top trendy ingredient in South America was the future of Europe. And you started to integrate this ingredient in your recipe, and you are seeing that the European market is not responding as you expected. This is not, you are maybe not in the bad market, but you need to adjust, or you need to understand maybe you need to refine your recipe to go in specific markets. This is the same for your product. You were launching your consumer brand, you launch a new product, you are 100% sure, you as human and all your team, that this product will be fantastic, and you are putting 60% of your cash in developing this new product, and you are saying that the product is not good enough. All those things can be seen as failure. But I tell you, all those things are preparing you to go to the next level of your journey and to go to chase the success and attain your goal you want to attain. The deeper the roots, the higher will be the tree. Meaning, the more you fail, the more you understand, the more you have the humility to understand that you don't know everything, and you can learn at any stage of your journey. You learn at 10, at 20, at 30, at 40, at 50, at 60 years old. If you stay, as we say, teachable, you will have deep roots, because you will face all losses as something that are putting the roots in the soil that are stronger than ever before, and that will help you to build that great success that is coming to you. After you fail, you need to sit down and pause. This is very important. So to sit down and pause, you need to ask yourself, what was wrong? What was going wrong? Write it down every time. What was going on? What I failed? Be humble about everything that happened and take accountability of all the problem, especially if you are the leader or the CEO or the owner of this business, because even if it's a bad hire because of the market, because of the economy, you have to take accountability of what is happening and say what was wrong and how I can be sure that the next step, the next phase will be successful, because I understood that was too risky. I didn't mitigate the risk enough. So you have to write down what was wrong. Second, you have to understand and to ask yourself, what did the market actually tell me right now? This is important. This is what I say when you launch a brand, when you are in a business, you need to be humble enough to listen to the market. And listening to the market is looking at the data. Looking at the data of your sales, looking at the data of the impact of your spendings, looking at the data of everything. So when you have a failure, actually, I would say do not wait to fail to look at all of that. But we know that sometimes when the business is running, we are just executing, and we don't take the time to look at all the numbers and all the data that we should look at to mitigate the risk. But first, You have to say what was wrong. You write it down, everything. What did the market actually is telling me right now? Maybe I need to pivot. I need to pivot my product. I need to pivot the company. I need to add a new layer of revenue in my company. I need to integrate AI for my customer support because the customers are leaving because we are not with them enough. You need to understand the 360 approach of that. And then you need to write what you will change in the next 30 days to be sure that it'll never happen again. Very important. When you have a failure, you pause. You pause and you ask yourself those 3 questions. What was wrong? What the market is telling me? And what do I change for the next 30 days to be sure that it will never, never happen? If it's something universal, meaning like everyone is failing, even the top guys that you are seeing at the top, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and all Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg, all that kind of guys failed at some point, and they are continuing to fail. This is just another level. But you can understand that, for example, Elon Musk, when he bought Tesla, he was at, I think it was at 6 months to shut down the company when it started to go up. So there is 3 kinds of failure. You have the guy that lose everything. An entrepreneur has to be ready to lose everything at any time because he will anticipate the fact that if I lose everything, how can I start again by learning what I learned when I was losing? You have a lot of story like that when the famous failure, when the guy lost everything and came back with 10x. You have also the story of the guy that created his own company that was very successful. And once it started to be a bit in struggle, the board decided to fire the builder and the owner of this company. Because when you grow and you start to go especially public or prepare to be public, you have a board of advisor and a board of direction. And this board can decide to fire you for the well-being of the company. Obviously, this really depends on how you structure your company, but you have a lot of story of famous people that were fired from their own company and then they came back and built the new leader in the industry. You have also the rejection. You have, for example, Netflix that came to the leader of the video streaming that was not streaming at that time. It was renting, when you were renting movies to go to and watch it at your home. The founder of Netflix knocked at the door of this guy and said, okay, the future is the streaming online. We are really sure. And they were rejecting like 100 times. And that just helped them to refine their strategy, to refine their go-to-market, to refine the product and move forward. So the failure is universal, but what you decide to do next is not. Meaning you need to learn from your failure to decide to move forward. What you do next will define how you will become and what you will do as an entrepreneur. So if we want to have a take, this is my take, failure is not the opposite of success. It is the price of admission. You have to understand that you have, as an entrepreneur, to pay the price to be where you want to be. And you pay the price by failing, adjusting, and starting again. So if you think to become an entrepreneur, if you are an entrepreneur and you look for building something great, it really you have to design first what is the success. What is your success? Your success can be becoming rich. Your success can be becoming free. Your success can be pleasing your family, is building a business and letting down to your son and daughters. That may be having 100 employees and being sure that the culture of the company is very good and people are very happy, because probably when you were young, you struggled at your work and the ambience was not good, and you think that the well-being of the employees is something, you need to define what is the success for you, and then starting to work towards it as something that is driving you. And understanding that the failure is just data, feedback that will help you to go to reach the success. And accepting the failure, working around your failure, is the price you have to pay to be admitted to your success. So it was a short one and something that I really wanted to push during Business and Breakfast, because I think that this approach and the way you face the failure is key when you are an entrepreneur, to understand what you have to do to move forward. So every Saturday I will be live. next week, another episode will come. It will be about the fintech product, how to build a fintech product without any dollars. I think the tips that we give during the business and breakfast are very useful. Do not hesitate to share that on YouTube, to share that on the podcast. We will drop a lot of content. We are Saturday now. Next Wednesday, 8 p.m. UAE time, let's talk business. My live Q&A when I answer live to all the people, to all their questions. So please subscribe to the event, follow on YouTube, follow on social. A lot of content of free value are coming to these channels. Thank you very much for being here, and do not forget, fail forward. Do not be ashamed to fail. Fail, adjust, adapt, iterate, and build better.